this is lesson 2, part 2. Remember, I couldn't get it all done in the first little section, so we're going to talk about the distance between 2 points. Here I have a line segment. We label the line segment by the end points. If you remember, this could be called line segment A, B. It could also be called line segment B, A. If we want to know the distance between point A and point B, it is the measure of the length of the line in between the 2 points. So certainly there are times when we would just take a ruler and we would just measure it. Point A and point B on my example happen to be exactly 12 inches apart, so the distance between point A and point B is 12 inches. But we don't always have that. A lot of times we're working with a number line, and we're dealing with positive side of 0 and the negative side of 0, and so we still need to know what the total distance is. Let's say we had a number line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's say that I had a point on here and a point on here, and I wanted to know, let's call this R and Q. Let's say that I wanted to know the distance between point R and point Q. Well, it's easy on the number line. I certainly could just count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But the first postulate that we learned said that we could take the difference, the absolute value of the difference of the points. The distance between A and B is the absolute value of the difference of the coordinates of the endpoints. So the coordinates of the endpoints are 1 and 5. So the difference means to subtract those. Absolute value, remember, absolute value is always positive, because it's literally a distance and you can't go a negative distance. So we would take the absolute value of 5 minus 1, that's the coordinates of Q and the coordinates of R. The absolute value of their difference would equal the absolute value of 4, which would equal 4. But here's the beauty of this postulate, because it doesn't matter what order you subtract them in. You can take the absolute value of 1 minus 5, because we're dealing with absolute value, and the distance is the same whether you're going from 1 to 5 or from 5 to 1. So you get the absolute value of negative 4, and of course the absolute value of negative 4 is still 4 units. So regardless of which order you subtract them in, you can find the difference by taking the coordinates of the endpoints, subtracting them, and taking that absolute value of that answer. Now let's try one with a negative number. Here is my number line. Here is point, we'll call it point A and B again. Here's point A, here's point B. Negative 6 is the coordinate for point A. Positive 4 is the coordinate for point B. And I want to find the distance between the 2 endpoints. Now, I could certainly on a number line just count, but remember, we might be dealing with great big numbers some days and we don't want to count those, so we're going to use the postulate that we learned. The absolute value of the difference between the 2 endpoints. In this case, it would be 4 minus a negative 6 would equal the absolute value of 4 plus 6, which is the absolute value of 10, which is 10. The distance between those 2 points is 10 units. I'm going to show you that it works the other way as well. The absolute value of negative 6 minus 4 is equal to the absolute value of negative 10, and the absolute value of negative 10 is positive 10, and there's my answer. Same answer that I got before. You only need to work it out one way, but either way works. That's using that distance postulate that's in your textbook. Now, we're going to use the segment addition postulate. The segment addition postulate says if point B is between A and C, then line segment AB plus line segment BC is equal to line segment AC. And actually, I don't need those little lines on top.
Okay, if point B is between A and C. Now, a sketch helps, so when they give you these problems, you sketching it out will be nice because they don't usually give you a sketch for it. Let's just say
we have a number line or a line somewhere, and we have point A and we have point C. I'm going to illustrate this postulate right here. Now, it's our tendency when we put B in between A and C, I don't know why, but we always want to put it dead center. There's nothing to tell us that point B goes dead center, so I'm going to obviously make it not in the center. And they're saying that if point B is between A and C, then the segment AB added to the segment BC is going to be equal to the entire segment AC. Now let's see how we can mix a little algebra in with this. Let's say that the distance between AB is 2x minus 7. That's the distance. Doesn't matter that we don't know what x is. And let's say that the distance between B and C is 3x plus 9. Well, we know if we want to find, if the problem asks us to find the distance or the length of AC, that we have to add the segments together. Segment AB added to segment BC will give us the segment AC. So AC would be equal to 2x minus 7 added to 3x plus 9. Now there's a little bit of work that can still be done there to simplify it. We don't have enough information to solve for x, but it wasn't asking us to solve for x. It was just asking us to find the distance. So you can combine like terms. 2x and 3x is 5x. Negative 7 and a positive 9 is positive 2. So the length of AC, or the distance between point A and point C, is 5x plus 2. There's just one other concept on this lesson, and that's the concept of the midpoint. Now we do get to draw the point right dead center. Let's say we have a line segment. We'll label this one. I'm getting kind of tired of A and B, so let's label this one P and Q. And it asks you to draw the midpoint and label it point M. Let the vocabulary work for you. Mid is middle. Point is a point. Midpoint is the point in the middle. I'm going to put my point M right there. Now, how do I indicate, though, that that is dead center in the middle? Well, I'm going to use those congruency hash marks. I'm going to mark line segment PM as being congruent with line segment QM. Therefore, point M is dead center in the middle because it cut the line segment into two congruent line segments. Okay, that's pretty much it. I will see you on Thursday. Please make sure you have your questions marked clearly so we can start with those. We'll be going over a lot of things, and I understand with the hurricane that things seem a little loose. We will get into a mode here where everything starts to roll along. Just don't give up on me, all right? We'll see you tomorrow.